Hello again, welcome back. If you're new here, hi, my name is Leslie. I live in Alaska with my husband and 2 kids. I don't consider myself a Disney vlogger or influencer, whatever. I'm just a mom stepping out of my comfort zone and bringing you lovely people along with me. This video is going to be my last Disney cruise video for this series, I guess, if you want to call it. On today's video, I'm going to be talking about what my experience was like with diet restrictions on a Disney cruise. So if you've seen my other videos, you know that I've been dealing with gut health issues. So just to give you a little backstory on that, I was told that I had celiac disease a few weeks before my cruise and that I needed to switch to a gluten-free diet. So by the time the cruise happened, I had only been gluten-free, I think a couple weeks. And so it was all new to me. I'm still being worked up for GI issues and waiting on some other tests to make sure that it truly is celiac disease. So I won't go into that right now, but that's what I was dealing with on the cruise. My intestines are inflamed. My stomach is also inflamed. So dealing with gastritis. So I had a lot of diet restrictions. So I didn't have coffee, alcohol. So anything that is too acidic and could inflame me even more, I had to stay away from. So the first thing I did was mourn because I did go through a grieving process because, I've been waiting for years to go on a cruise and I've watched the videos and I had this idea of what I wanted to eat on the ship, and then to find out that it wasn't going to happen, I was kind of sad. But then I went into research mode to find out what the whole process was going to be like. So before the cruise, I did fill out a special request form. It wasn't working for me on the app, so I had to log on my laptop, and then I was able to fill out the form. Any special requests, not necessarily just diet, you can fill that out before your cruise. So I did that. But before I go into detail on the actual cruise experience, I just want to quickly talk about what the travel was like with my diet restrictions. So going from Alaska to Florida, it's not quick. I knew we were going to have a long travel day. So I did eat here in Anchorage before we took off. And my original plan was to eat in Seattle at the Alaska Lounge. But where our flight landed, that lounge in that area for some reason closes very early. And the only lounge that was still open was in another area that was different from where our next flight was going to take off. So we didn't have enough time to go there. So I had to find something quick at the food court. And there was a little food court by our gate. And the only thing I could find there was a cup of grapes and a couple of cheese sticks. And I couldn't even finish the grapes because they were very sour. They were too acidic for my stomach. So I only ate a few of those, and I had thankfully packed some chips, some gluten-free chips, and I had some of those and the cheese sticks, and that was my dinner. Then when we landed in Orlando, it was too early to check in the hotel, so we met up with my friends and had breakfast at the food court at the Orlando airport, and the only thing I could find there was a fruit bowl at Chick-fil-A. So it was a learning experience. I definitely need to prepare and pack more snacks, more veggies and fruit. So I didn't learn until later that the hotel we were staying at, the Hyatt Regency at the airport, has a restaurant called McCoy's, and they have a lot of gluten-free options. Had I known that, I would have had breakfast there, but I didn't find out till after. So I did have lunch there. I ordered a mushroom burger with fries, and they did assure me that everything was gluten-free, and they had a lot of gluten-free options. Later that day, we went to Disney Springs. If you've seen my other video, you saw clips from there. It wasn't Rainforest Cafe, but I guess it's the same company. It's the one with the dinosaurs. And there, I told the waiter that I had a gluten allergy. The chef came out. He had a pink slip and wrote down all my options, told me what he could make for me. Then the food was brought out for me. I think it was chicken Alfredo with pasta. It was so good. But he explained to me how he was going to cook the sauce and everything. So that was really nice, that whole experience. If you go to Disney Springs, I highly recommend McKenna's Bakery. Oh my gosh, it was so good. After dinner, I wanted to stop by there, and I got some pastries just to have in case I needed a snack on the ship. That was the original plan. So for the following morning before we boarded the ship, I had planned to have breakfast at McCoy's and try their gluten-free options. Some of the stuff looked really good for breakfast, but if you've seen my other video, you saw that we overslept. So I did not have time to go sit down and have breakfast. So it was a grab and go kind of breakfast. And thankfully I had those gluten-free pastries and I shared it with Alexa and she liked it too. The cinnamon roll, I think I got the banana bread and a blueberry loaf, I think. But everything was so good. It really surprised me. I was like, how is this gluten-free? I think they're also vegan and dairy-free. I really thought it was gonna taste not as good as it was. It was so good. Oh my gosh. I'll definitely go back. Okay, so now on to the ship. So when you get on the ship, your room isn't ready. You're able to roam around. Usually people have lunch while you wait for your room to be ready. So we went to Marceline Market. That's what it's called on the Disney Wish, the buffet style restaurant. I didn't know what options were going to be available for me there. So they do have cast members in the entrance and I asked one and told them that I had a gluten allergy. He was very nice. He radioed, I'm pointing here because he had his radio here. He radioed one of the cooks and he came out, talked to me. He also had a pink slip, so it looked like the one the restaurant at Disney Springs had. So it must be like the Disney slip, but he told me the options of what I could have there and I put in my order and they brought my food out to me. So I was always whenever we went to Marceline Market, I was the person holding the tables because while everyone went up and got their food, I was waiting for mine to be brought to me. So that felt really good. I got spoiled and felt like, oh, everything was cooked for me because it was cooked separately. So our first dinner that night was at Arendelle. I didn't know if the waiter was going to automatically know that I was gluten-free. I knew I filled out the form, but I didn't know because there's a lot of people. We're not the only family that our group of waiters takes care of. So I reminded my waiter, his name was Paul. He was great. I told him I had a gluten allergy and he brought me an allergy-friendly menu. I could not tell you the name of the things I ended up ordering. It was very loud, dark. I don't know the name of the things that I ordered, but everything was very good. I think in that menu I didn't see a dessert, so I was kind of bummed because other people were ordering dessert and he told me, he's like, don't worry, I got you. I'm going to bring you something. I'm not going to let you not have dessert. So that was pretty nice and he surprised me with something which I don't know what it was, but I ate it and it was good. Towards the end of the dinner at Arendelle, our waiter pulled me aside and he said, don't leave without putting in your breakfast order. I was like, what? I didn't understand what, like, were they going to bring it to my room? How did he know where I was going to have breakfast? So he came back with a pad while we were getting ready to leave and he said that we could pre-order a breakfast meal for me. He asked me if we were going to have breakfast at Marceline Market. I told him yes. At that point, we hadn't had breakfast there, so I had no idea what the options were. So he gave me options and I ended up ordering the bacon, sausage, eggs. I thought I was not going to be able to have Mickey waffles and he said, we can make you gluten-free Mickey waffles. And I got too excited. Oh my gosh, I think I shouted at Arendelle because I was just like, what? I really had convinced myself that I wasn't going to be able to have Mickey waffles. I was so excited that I didn't ask him how I was going to get this breakfast. So the following morning when we went to Marceline Market, again, I went up to the cast member that's right there by the entrance and I said, hey, my waiter last night, he told me he was going to put in a pre-order for me. I don't know like where it is or how that works. And he said, don't worry about it. He asked me for my stateroom number, radioed it in again, because the radio's right here. They let the cooks know that I was there and he asked me where we were going to be sitting. And I'm a creature of habit. I ended up sitting in the same area. So again, I was holding the tables while everyone went and got their breakfast and they brought my food out to me and it was so good. Now, usually sausage gives me heartburn, but that, I don't know what type it was, but it did not give me heartburn. It was so delicious. The scrambled eggs were delicious. They kind of reminded me of those reels or videos you see from the restaurants in Japan where it was kind of like runny. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not a food person, describer, maker of words. Now for lunch on the second day, we decided to eat at the pool deck. We hadn't eaten there at that point. So again, I went up to a cast member and asked, what can I have in this section? And she said pretty much anything, just pick what because it's divided by like barbecue, burgers, like tacos, pizza. So I could find out through each section. They called someone in the back, and again with that pink allergy slip, he came up and asked me where I was gonna sit and gave me my options, and I ended up going with a burrito bowl. I think it was a pork burrito bowl. He did say I could get some tacos, but it was gonna take like 15 minutes to do the tortillas, and burritos weren't an option, so I just went with the bowl, and it was really good. I did envy those eating the other stuff around me, but but the bowl was really good. We then went to Joyful Sweets, and the kids got some treats. I did ask them if they had any gluten-free options there, and they said they did not. So that was a kind of a bummer, but it's okay because I didn't need it. So the dinner the second night was at the 1923 restaurant, and since we have the same waiters throughout the whole cruise, as soon as I got there, Paul already had the gluten-free rolls with allergy-friendly butter for me. He had the allergy menu for me. I ordered the filet mignon and I think the gnocchi. I don't remember what else, but everything was good. He brought me the dessert. Everything was delicious. The quality was really good. It didn't feel like I was missing out on anything because of my restrictions. So at 1923, after dinner, I did pre-order my breakfast for the following day. We went back to Marceline Market. I ended up ordering the same thing, the Mickey waffles with the bacon, sausage, eggs, and fruit. And we had breakfast before getting off at Castaway Cay. If you decide to get off the ship and go eat at Castaway Cay, they do cook lunch there for you. There are 3 restaurants there. We were initially told that the food was the same in every restaurant. So where we ended up was the second section with the Cookies 2 barbecue, I think it's called. And when it was time to eat, we got a table, had all our stuff laid out, people were getting their food, and then a cast member told me that that specific area did not have the allergy friendly options. It's only in the first Cookies barbecue that's by the beginning that had the allergy friendly stuff. And so when I found that out, people in my party had already started getting their food, and I was like, I'm not gonna make us move. So in that section, I ended up just getting fruit, and then they had their lunch, I had my fruit, and then towards the end of our Castaway Cay stay, we went back towards the beginning of the island, and there at Cookies Barbecue, there's a section in the corner where you go and order for anyone that has any diet restrictions, and they had the pink slip again. I put in my cheeseburger and fries order. They gave me a button monitor thing. A beeper, well, a thing like that beeps and vibrates when the food was ready. So I went back and got my food and ate there. Then we went back on the ship. So just keep that in mind when you do go to Castaway Cay. The first barbecue section called Cookies, that's where you are going to eat your food. By that time I was so hungry I forgot to record my food, but the cheeseburger and fries were delicious too. Not as good as the one in McCoy's at the Hyatt Regency, but it was still good. Dinner on our final night was at the Marvel restaurant, the Avengers restaurant. And there again, I had the allergy menu. I got scallops with pasta, and I think before that I had a soup and a dessert, a chocolate dessert with ice cream, which I loved because I hadn't been eating desserts, so just having chocolate on the cruise was amazing. I mean, I was in pain anyway. I was like, just a little chocolate is gonna be okay, even though it's acidic. But thankfully, I didn't get worse. Now, the way the dining rotations are on the ship, you end up having breakfast at the last place you had dinner. So for us, we had breakfast at Marvel again. It's a different menu. It's not buffet style. They're trying to get you out. It's like eat and get out because we got to clean the ship and get the next group of people on. But everyone was still nice. They brought me the menu, and I noticed a lot of the gluten-free options were on the kids menu. So I did order a kids plate, and they also brought me some pastries. So that was really nice. They were all very kind. Overall, the whole dining experience was pretty great. I felt like I had my own personal chef. I was spoiled. They were also accommodating, very helpful. They didn't make me, no one should make you feel bad for having diet restrictions, but sometimes when you say you're gluten-free, people think like, oh, you're one of those, and like, no, it can be an allergy, like a true allergy. But everyone was kind, they were eager to help. The quality of all the food was great. Nothing that I had tasted like meh. I didn't have that reaction at all. Everything was really good. I can't unfortunately comment on like the coffee or alcohol on the ship because I didn't have any. I pretty much just drank water the whole trip. The only 2 non-water drinks that I had was one drink at Hyperspace Lounge, which was non-alcoholic, and a Shirley Temple at the Marble restaurant for dinner on our last night. Just because being in that atmosphere, I was like, come on, like I'm at the Star Wars lounge, like I have to have something Star Warsy. And so I did order that. It was a sour drink, but I sucked it up and dealt with it. And then the Shirley Temple was just like, I'm at the Marvel restaurant, everyone's having drinks, and like, so I had a Shirley Temple. Just, yeah, I got wild. Okay, so to wrap this video up, I have no complaints about my whole experience. I felt like Disney was very accommodating. Everyone was kind and very helpful. I would have no problem going back and doing it again. Well, I am going back. So yeah, I hope you found this video helpful, and thanks for sticking around, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.